So, Bullseye, best handling in the game. Ben, best straight line speed in the game. They play completely opposite ways, however, they are both regarded as two of the fastest. Now, but coming off the line, Ronnie's doing a pretty solid start. Pretty standard boost line, just straight line, go fast. And does he hold the long boost? Looks like he's got it. Yes, that was almost a max length boost. And, oh god, Deku plays cockpit view?
Don't knock it
Deku
till you
plays...
try it. I did that as a kid and enjoyed it.
Oh, that's going to make me nauseous.
Yeah, but you know our fans will love it.
Yeah, let's go with that. Sorry, just tapping out for a second. That was a pretty clean first lap from Ronnie, and Deku's actually not looking too bad on it.
Very,
Sorry,
very
I'm
true.
doing some extra syncing stuff that I wasn't planning on doing.
Oh, don't worry, it happens. It happens.
Yep.
Hopefully
So,
chat's enjoying all this.
Deku's into this figure 8 at the end is a big make or break for the make or break for the track if I can get English done.
English is hard.
Yes. It is one of the easiest bits to mess up, and this first bit as well, if you can't manage the long boost, which Deku doesn't even seem to be attempting. There we go. There's game audio. So, Ronnie's got a pretty substantial lead coming through here. He's ahead by the ramp straightaway, and then the curve after. Just some very solid driving out of Ronnie. And I'm actually having a lot of trouble seeing what's going on with Deku, simply because of the engine view. I'm not used to it. And thank you to the guy in chat who's answering questions, because I cannot see it. There's not a huge amount left to say about this one. Deku did just crash in that figure 8 segment. That is a tough break. And alright. 107.07 coming out of Deku. And Ronnie is getting into... Yeah, he's coming up on the home stretch of lap 3 already. Whew. That is a hot Aquilaris Classic out of Ronnie. Looks like it'll be a sub 250. 244, I want to say?
Crash for Deku.
243.9. That is a very, very solid AQC in a race setting. And Deku looks like he's having a rough go of it. He does seem to really like taking ramps, which you actually don't see all that often. You do lose speed while you're airborne, no matter what you're doing. It just slows you down. And that was, like, as Ronnie's hovering, that was a very, very nice AQC.
So
now we have to get...
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, we now have to go get the... now we have to go get the players' bans for the next phase. Magius, if you want to tell whatever you were going on.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask about, wanted to explain the strategies.
Well, right now we're going into the banning phase. And both players are going to get to ban 2 tracks. Ronnie will ban 1. Deku bans 1. Ronnie bans a second. Deku bans a second. Takes 4 tracks out, so players can simply avoid some tracks they very much dislike. Fire Mountain Rally is coming off from Ronnie. That is a pretty tight cornering track. Has a couple of very long straights, so you have to find a tight balance between your handling and your boosting. It's pretty tricky to manage.
So probably a course that, would favor what? got Bullseye versus
Bullseye is what the world record is held on. Bullseye holds the world record. Now, Mars Guo, Ace has shown can compete at the top level. Sorry, we're just waiting on Deku to get back in here so we can do those bands. So Fire Mountain Rally, yes, you have to. Basically, it comes down to just Bullseye and Mars are the two that do see some play there. Ben, in theory, at a task level of gameplay, would be fastest. And apologies again, just trying to fix a couple things.
It happens, chat. It happens, everybody. I know for me, I'm just a fan of choosing like the stuff at random on that one, and probably any of my choices will be just straight off the back, pulling out a dice and just rolling it, and whatever lands on it is what we're going to the race.
Yes. Now we have banned. Now Fire Mountain Rally was banned. Deku has banned Abyss, and now Roni is banning Grapevine Gateway. So Roni really doesn't seem to like these Barunda courses. Gauntlet has been taken out. So Abyss and Gauntlet are both very difficult tracks.
If I recall correctly, they're two of the last 4 tracks, so the highest setting.
Yes. Yeah, those last 4 tracks are regarded as some of the hardest.
Even just trying to practice, I couldn't even get through that without crashes.
Yeah.
So I hope everybody's enjoying, some pod races after dark.
So, where is Deku going to take us? I don't know. Where would you go here?
Yeah, I'm still a scrub at this one, but I'd pick something that's more balanced on that one. I mean, you're down 1. You have what? It's best of 9, so you got a few races to give. But I'd pick something that plays to your favor, so you can at least get 1 win.
Yep. Sorry, but we are going to Ando Prime Centrum.
Not a problem. Should be interesting to see. After all, it's the first of the last 4 courses, so suits show off their skills, don't you think?
Sorry, just trying to get this going along.
It's all right. It's after midnight.
Yeah. Ando Prime Centrum. This is a very interesting track. It splits multiple ways. It's also very interesting to have Ben not available. Looks like Roni is going with Mars for this.
Ah, so Ben was the band for Pod.
Yes, Ben is off the table.
Wasn't Ben also the one person in the movie that actually just ended up dying at the very beginning of the race?
Which one?
Ben, didn't he actually die because he couldn't get his pod started?
He didn't die. His engines flew off and his cockpit fell to the ground.
Ah.
But there were, I believe, the only confirmed fatality in the Boonta Classic in the movie was Rats Tyrell.
Ah.
He crashed into a stalagmite, specifically a stalagmite, in the caves, and got eaten by a crate dragon.
Yeah, pretty much.
Alright, players are ready. It looks like we're going to be getting the countdown. We'll be into it very shortly. Mars versus Ben. Well, Mars has the advantage going through the... Oh, excuse me. Mars does have the advantage going through the primary city section. Bullseye does, however, hold the advantage in the tighter cave section right beforehand.
So
Properly... Yeah,
Go ahead.
At perfect gameplay, Mars should win every time. However, when you do start crashing, because he's very hard to execute on the front half of the track, it does lead to some problems, because Bullseye is far more easy to execute on this track. Looks like we're getting into it now. Deku is going to be a few seconds ahead on stream. I will take care of that momentarily. Oh, Deku with the early death. And yeah, this has been pretty solid out of Roni so far. Deku is going with one of those splits that's actually much longer. This is a slower route to take.
You want to explain why they're boosting so hard?
In general, if you can be boosting, you want to be boosting, and you want to maximize the length of your boosts. It's a flat speed additive. There's not much more to say to it beyond, as long as you're boosting, your pod is heating up. As soon as you hit very max heat, your engine catches on fire and you have to put it out. Putting out your engine bleeds some speed. You also cannot boost while your engine's on fire. Every pod cools down at a different rate and heats up at a different rate. So Mars, that Roni's playing, has, I believe, the lowest heat rate in the game. So he can hold boosts for far longer than anybody else. And his cooling is good, not the very top, but pretty solid. So Mars winds up being able to have, I believe, the highest boost uptime in the game. Bullseye, on the other hand, heats up very quickly, cools very quickly, and handles very well while boosting. So you wind up getting a pod that can hold boosts in areas that no other pod can. So you'll see an example, you might see an example later on, but if you ever see a very top-level IL grinding runner playing Bullseye on any of the Barunda tracks, you can get some very, very good shows of holding difficult boosts.
So you have to be something to keep an eye out for.
Yep. Now, like I said, this track splits a lot. Right here is a three-way split for Deku. This room he's going into is a three-way split. Now that Deku's getting into the main city, this has 4 different two-way splits. All over the place. And Roni with the 301 on Mars, even with a couple of deaths, that is not a bad time for that. Now, as we get a little farther in, we need to do the ban phase for the next race. Wait, where did I put? There it is. Now I just need to walk the players through that ban very quickly. Yes, and there will be some dead air between races as I work this out. Alright, Deku has banned Ben again. Vengeance has been banned again by Roni.
You must really not like Vengeance.
Okay. Looking over at chat, yes, Wreckfest is incredibly fun. Okay, we're going to Inferno.
Oh god, this would be fun. I mean for us, not our
Yes,
runners.
this is going to be very fun. Inferno is one of my favorite tracks in the game. It is a very hype track to see played. It has some very interesting turns, and it's also in a skip scenario. The most broken track in the game.
Really?
Yes.
What makes it so broken?
It has more skips than any other track. Uh,
Again, I hope you're all enjoying the tournament so far. If you like what you see, don't forget to give our runners a follow, and don't forget to follow Speed Gaming and all, the Speed Gaming channels to keep watching the tournament.
Okay. We are going to Inferno.
I find it interesting about all the different names of the actual courses here.
Yes, they are. Most of them are actually based on canonical things within Star Wars.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've read a lot of the former expanded universe of Star Wars. Then again, I'm a huge fan of that one, but
it's also technically, until the Disney acquisition, this game was canon.
A lot of it was canon. The saddest thing is Disney actually deleted a lot of stuff that was officially canon.
Yes. Well, to be fair, pretty much the entire extended universe, or expanded universe, was canon, because they never said it wasn't.
True, but I'm talking about the stuff that was officially made by Lucasfilm and LucasArts.
Oh, yeah.
That stuff was really officially canon.
Yes. But this game is where all of the pod racing lore came from. They were allowed to basically write the background of pod racing as an entity.
Which is a good thing considering this game is very fun and enjoyable. Although I don't think we will ever see Anakin in this game at all.
No. Right, players are getting into it now. I need to hit that. So, Roni's going Mahonic, and Deku is sticking to his guns on Bullseye. Same thing applies as when I was describing this matchup with Ben and Mars. Mahonic's boost is far stronger, his handling is markedly worse. But Mahonic's boost is not quite in the neighborhood of Ben's. It's pretty high, and he has better handling. But he's much more comparable to Mars for a level.
Very true. Although
he's a very good pod.
At least with that, they're not doing it all in reverse, where you actually have to follow that one.
No. Right. Just pausing to let Deku's camera catch up. There we go. Roni, ooh, not a very clean shortcut, and not a very clean long way from Deku. He could have made up a lot of ground there.
It's just interesting to see how many weird crashes you can do in this game.
Yes, this course specifically has some of the jankiest collision you'll ever encounter. However, as far as I know, it doesn't have any of those spots this game is known for that can just that can just kill you if you drive over them. As I'm sure you and anyone else who's played this game in chat have encountered. There's a lot of spots where, since they basically built the ground out of walls, they're the exact same construction. So when different bits of terrain intersect on the ground, it counts the same as driving into a corner, and it just kills you.
I guess there would be savings on the programming side of things, so they didn't have to actually code in everything to be, destructible. They could just say, if you hit a wall in any form, you blow up.
Take damage. Well, you take damage. There are plenty of spots on the ground where you drive over them, they either blow you up or you just take a bit of damage. The one that comes to mind is on Beato's Wild Ride. If you boost over a certain seam in the ground, you just explode. There is no avoiding it, so you just don't boost in that spot.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
You're the expert more than me.
Sorry. As I'm just changing tack a little bit, looking at the course itself. As all of you can see in chat, this one has some splits that aren't nearly as major. But if you look at where Roni is, that long straightaway is one of the biggest reasons Ben, Mahonic, Bold, Beto, these high boosting pods are picked here, even though it's such a windy, tight track. These high boost thrust pods can make up so much ground there, even though their turning's not as good. But where Deku is, that is where Bullseye just eats. Bullseye is fantastic in these tight, twisty corners. And as soon as I say that, he crashes. but that is Bullseye's strongest area.
Guess you could call that a commentator's curse.
Yeah. Anyway, did you have something before I went on that little rant?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm learning a lot just by sitting here and actually listening.
Now, that was a lot of explosions from both players, just Roni died a few fewer times. Whew. And coming through, that was actually the closest race we've had so far between them. 312 to 328.
There's an actual explosion count on this.
We totally need a counter for that.
I honestly think we need to add that for the next race.
So this is a 3-0 right now. 3-0 lead right now for Roni. Looking over at chat. Yes, Everalert. That is a perfectly valid track to chain ban.
Right, and looks like Ben is going to be banned.
All right, we're just taking Ben off the table for this entire time. That is totally fine by me. I love seeing some pod diversity.
Same.
That's what lets us see these Mahonics, these Bowls, these Betos, these Bullseyes everywhere.
Personally, I think we should also have a forced pod at least at one point.
No. Then everyone's going to get forced onto Team Toe or Bozzy, and they will hate it.
That or Anakin. I don't know, it looks like the Bunta Classic's going to be banned.
Bunta Classic is off the table. That is...
Basically,
I kind of like that. They've been having trouble. They've both been having some trouble on tighter cornering spots, and about half of Bunta Classic is fairly tight. Also, chat, we already did Anakin vs. Bulba. It was last Saturday.
Sebulba was one of the only racers, if I recall correctly. Doesn't he have the ability to actually use his flame jet? So he's the only one that actually has a weapon?
The AI is immune to it.
Damn.
Yes. Also, it requires playing Sebulba, and do you really want to do that?
Yeah, probably not unless his actual flame jet, which I'm pretty sure it doesn't, actually lets you vent heat.
No. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, just being able to vent heat while boosting, like, okay, your engine's never going to burn out, it's going to increase your cooling so much. It's almost worth it.
To answer a question in chat while we wait on the track selection to come through, what makes Sebulba bad is his strength is his unupgraded base speed. His unupgraded base speed is 600. I believe the Flame Jet works in multiplayer Everalert. However, at max upgrades, everybody has the same base speed at 650. So Sebulba's main strength is already gone. Couple that with having the second lowest, I believe, boost thrust in the game with, I think it's 185, which is very, very low.
Seems about right. It just almost makes you wish you could actually unlock it sooner so that way you could actually take advantage of him.
Yeah. But Sebulba is incredibly slow at max upgrades. Simply because everyone else equalizes his strength. We're going to Mon Gaza Speedway.
Do you want to talk about the course before we see the start?
Yes, because I won't have time to talk about it during the race. Monga's a speedway. Shortest track in the game. By a factor of 2. When you at the top level, this course can be done in 40 seconds for 3 laps. That is 4-0.
I'm surprised no one's actually offered an actual mirror at any of these ones.
Yeah. Alright, let's see. Where are we getting picked? Mars. I believe that's the wrong pick here. Alright, players have been counted down, and we're going. Hey, Garnatrex, out of chat. This is such a fun game, even if you're not speedrunning, if you're not competing. It is fantastic.
I know I picked it up myself on the PC, and I've got it also on N64. I enjoyed it as a kid, and I decided to join the tournament because it seemed interesting. So yeah, it's a good game.
It is incredibly fun.
Even though I'm probably the least skilled of all the racers, but I'm still gonna have fun.
Oh, of course. Alright, Deku's off the line. He's not boosting too much. Okay. And Roni is looking pretty good on that first bit. He held the long boost. I'm not going to bother spending the time to sync this because it's only a 45-second course. But Roni does have a 1-second lead coming out of lap 1. This can still be made up. It is literally 1 death and you lose here, effectively. And that is a 2-second lead for Roni coming out of lap 2. Probably 2.5. So this course, as you can see, there's not a huge amount to talk about. It's relatively simple. There's nothing crazy on it. It's just short, it is tight, and it is fast. 46.29 and 49.71. That is a PB for Deku.
Congrats.
That is actually one of the most hype tracks. Yeah, 46 with Mars. That is not half bad. And honestly, sub 50 with Bullseye isn't bad at all for that course.
So I gotta ask, what's your opinion on actually if we'll see any racer actually, or any race that'll be done in the mirror mode?
I don't believe so. Under our rule set, you can only play mirror mode if both players are in it at the same time, and there aren't many people I know that would choose to do that.
Yeah, you might consider it if I guess maybe you're offering it for a course that one person really, really, really wants. You could offer it that it has to be, on mirror mode to make it a bit more challenging.
Yeah. I don't know, I might pitch something if I play against a very specific player. I'm not gonna go too much into that. But I've got some very silly gentleman's clause suggestions I'm going to be offering over the course of this event.
Hey, I'm a fan of doing those whenever I can.
Yep. We're going to Scrapper's Run with no Ben.
Basically, they should have just almost outright just said, yeah, we're all going to ban Ben, so just pick who else you want.
Alright, just waiting on both players to hop in. Alright. Hey, guy in chat, what makes this game bad? I will go point by point with you. We have Bull's Roar. Alright, it's my boy. Actually, no, my boy is Slide. But let's see where this one winds up. Scrappers is a fun course. It's our first exposure to Ord Ibana on this match, which is not Cloud City. That's on Bespin. I've had this argument before. But it is a floating track on a gas giant. It is split level for part of it. Oh god, every time someone crashes in cockpit view. And here we go, as you saw, floating cloud on a gas giant. And he falls off and he dies.
At least it's not in the full, like first person down at the laser cockpit view.
Oh god. No.
As I said, when I was a kid, I would enjoy that. But then again, kid.
Hey, going into this bit, that was a rough go of it for Deku. Roni's playing pretty cleanly on this course, aside from that death. It's not an easy course to play a low traction pod. Specifically because of the turn after this tube that Roni's coming into, where you need to respond very, very quickly. If you touch that wall going over 690, you just die on the spot. I believe at 690 it might be a little over 700. Also, the tube is very hard to control yourself in. And there's that death. Of course, different pods do have differing levels of durability. So, certain pods will crash at different speeds against a wall like that. Bowls is one of the highest durability, if I remember correctly. But I do not know that for sure. Do not know that for certain. I'd have to go look at the stat tables. Touch that wall once, you explode.
This game reminds me almost like an actual auto racing RPG with the upgrade system and durability system.
Yeah, well, the durability system is actually all hidden stats, except for repair. So you don't know, like, you can't see your pod's damage interval on the stats screen. Alright, and that is going to be that. A 2:13.023 on the final track for Roni.
Nice and clean, but still fun to watch.
Yeah. Alright. Whew. Excuse me.
Not a problem. I hope our fans enjoyed all the races.
Yes. All right. We're going to be trying to get both players in here for a brief interview. All right, we've got Roni in here. We might have Deku joining. I'm not sure. There is Deku.
Hi, how's it hanging?
Well played, gentlemen. That was a fun one to watch.
Oh, man.
Oh, I have such a horrible feedback loop. All right, we're good.
Okay. This is why we don't usually use a mic when we don't usually do our own streams when we're doing this bit or in that way.
Uh-huh.
I can safely stop my stream, right?
Yeah, you could leave it open so we just have something on the screen there, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jump in and do like some more.
We can just leave it on the results screen.
Oh, too late.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, just have it. Just have the thing. Like you have your recorder, not pick up the audio from it.
Yeah, that's
typically
yeah.
Well, I can just go to the audio settings and turn off sound, and then there we go.
Anyway.
Oops.
Pretty much. I do have to ask, why the cockpit view?
Yeah, that's my main thing.
Because that's the only way to play the game. Have you ever played this game?
You are the only one who's done this.
Really? I'm the only person in this entire little league we have that plays the game properly? Dude,
Yeah.
I need the freaking... I'm just like a step away from having a couple of Thrustmasters and controlling the pod like that, man.
Get a joystick.
Yeah, I'm using an Xbox remote.
Hmm.
All right.
I think quite a few people are using controllers.
Yeah, I know Nacho is. There's a couple others who are using it. There was
Hey,
someone using a Switch Pro controller.
Hey, that's me.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I wish it had motion settings because it would be 10 times easier.
Yeah. I would love to see motion controls for this game.
Yeah, that would be so hard to use though,
oh, yeah, that'd
like
be
properly.
garbo.
It'd be so cool though. It's one of
Would
those
probably
things that
be
I would
easy to do.
I would 100% do a drunk stream of.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Like, hook it up
Switch
to, like, a
Joy-Cons to
Wiimote.
work.
Did I have a question. Did I do a single race where I was deathless? I think I might have been deathless on one of them.
I don't remember offhand.
I know at
think-
one point we did. Go ahead, man.
I'm looking through the chat here to see which
I-
ones
Your
we did.
Aqualaris, maybe?
Yeah, I think Aqualaris was. That was a
Yeah.
good Aqualaris.
I know
A
at
lot
one point
of-
we.
Better, which kind of saddens me. Like
Yeah.
Scrappers, I died at a dumb part.
Yeah, that was an interesting
Was it that wall? The yellow and black wall?
No, it was at some other part. I don't remember exactly where, but I remember it was dumb.
Yeah. It was.
I think I also died
yeah.
sometimes.
I'm picturing it. I don't remember where it is though.
You'll just have to check the VOD.
Yeah. However, with that, we should probably call it a night. It is 1 a.m. local for me, so.
Yeah.
Same.
All right. Well, thanks to everyone who tuned in
Yep.
and rooted for me.
Yes, thank you to both of our players. Thank you to Magius for coming out and co-commentating with me.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
And
Thanks
thank
for
you
listening
to-
me.
No problem. And thank you to every viewer for coming out at what's an ungodly hour for some of us.
This is nothing.
Yeah.
And that's it
This is like-
for
All
Pod
right.
Rage
Late
After
night
Dark.
racing is concluded. So, I don't know. Go do your, your cigarette after or whatever I said.
Yeah. We need to find out how we could stream it off of YouTube because I
All right,
hate
let's
Twitch.
cut it, guys.
All right. See you later.
Fare thee
Bye all.
well.